Okay, thank you. So in the afternoon session, we have a project site works training for today, and then the presenter will be Richard Ip from GC department. So I will pass on the mic to Richard to start on this training.
All right. So good afternoon, our Redwood fellow colleagues. Right. At the same time, we're still waiting for others to join in, but we are not going to waste any more further time. We still will carry on this. Right. So in the morning section, you already have went through the few stage. Right. So just refresh those few stage before you go into this last stage. So this is not going to be a magic book for all, but it's just additional knowledge. All right, because everyone have their own working method, but this is a guideline, put it this way, or it's going to be SOP. All right, especially for those newcomer, it's good for you to review this SOP, as it should be able to help you along. Okay, we are never to make you to everyone into a Superman or a Supergirl. Okay, but nevertheless, this will able to improve all your further knowledge and is able to help you along the way. All right. So let's start off over here. This basically is more towards on site work wise. Okay. For all the project guys, they will know. All right. Upon the award project, everything, all this have been settled down. There will be a schedule and there will be the site survey and site measurement. All right. So what we do for the site survey and site measurement. All right. This is we want to be more understanding on the surrounding area, especially the environment. Okay. So there will be a few scenario, but it's not critical over in your site survey. But just to take note, sometimes you do have tenants occupied. So how you want to survey the site? Sometimes it's tenant vacant, it's more easier. The whole site is nothing, just only left the bare finishing. Okay. And some is site is still under construction. All right. But I think normally most of you will be item number two, mostly. Okay. Site under even construction. Right. For my case, I only do one time in the meantime. That is the elite pavilion. So document you require for your site survey definitely is your tender drawing, which is a leasing drawing. Most of them do not request for leasing drawing. Sometimes you'll try to request for the leasing drawing because the leasing drawing will show the outline. Most of us always receive is the design intent, okay, which is always our QS department will only have the design intent to do all the tendering. So basically, all this drawing is only for your information. Okay. So things to be captured. Take note on this is, as I already mentioned, is the location of the store and its surrounding. Why we want to look at the surrounding is because of your loading, unloading. Okay, how far you are, how near you are, who is all your neighbor here and there, to have more understanding. Okay. Checking the store listing list line is the most important thing. Okay. Because if in the event of this line is not clear, all right, there will be a lot of hectic later stage. Okay, so you must know the list line. That is important because you will work within your list line. Okay, you don't do anything after the list line. Okay, it's a very standard formula. For the M&E services for the landlord, this is the only item that actually once we take over the site or we go for the site survey, we will always take over from the landlord. It's always the landlord, the audio speaker, maybe their mobile antenna, okay, exit light or emergency light. Okay, these are the only few items that we're taking over. You don't take over the DB because they don't provide you, they only provide the isolator. So sometimes there is plus minus item here and there. Okay, so this is what the management can able to guide you along. Right. So someone will come and tell me, oh, there's always isolator. Yeah. Some do have, some don't have. Okay. So just to know on all this is just for your knowledge and understanding. All right. To check loading and unloading, okay, this is the most important one of the activity you need to carry out because you need to bring in everything from the scratch. Okay. So this is the tenant occupied. Okay. So these are the drawing that normally is the base drawing that we want to take a look, because these are the base drawing on the leasing. Because all landlord is standard procedure. When they lease out something, they will have something. So that is why I do encourage, try to request for the leasing drawing, because this will show you what the bare unit they will provide. And that is how you take over the site. So these are the site survey that actually we have to carry out. Okay. In fact, for all the site survey takeover, we have to do this. Okay. If not, some of you will get into the trouble of replacing the more tiles, replacing the more marble. Okay. And I believe some of the project guys already have faced this issue. Okay. So think on this. The site survey that we do is not just to take the surrounding how you look like. Okay. The most important thing is also what the surrounding of the landlord have provided, especially like those hydrant area. All right. These are the most important thing, because this will affect certain of the escape route in your later stage design. Okay. But these are information maybe some of you will still not able to understand. Whole shield outside, nothing related to project, is wrong. There is a fire escape road which is 25 meter. Okay. Any changes in 2024 are not so sure. But in the meantime, it's still 25. So anything that's above the 25, normally you need to consider another whole shield of firefighting. They know on this. Okay. Because sometimes the consultant also will miss. But most of the consultant will not miss. Okay. So these are the tenants vacant area unit. Okay. Sometimes these are the drawing that you all will receive, right? Because these are the building construction drawing. Okay, maybe you couldn't understand what is all this drawing about. So these are actually is a building construction drawing, which from the big building go into a smaller area. After that, you go into your unit. Okay, so these are the information for you to take over the site. So think on all this. So over here, when we do site survey, we also would like to have all these elevation as much as we can. Okay, so please do not use these, oh, here only tell us is 8 elevation, then we take 8 elevation. It's not. This is just a sample. Okay, try to pick up as much as you can. Okay, because you only do one time. Okay, all right. Do not based on SOP here indicate 8, meaning that you just take 8 elevation. This is not what we are trying to educate. It's just an example to show. All right, try to have as much as you can. Okay, I would say that, right? So especially when we take over the site, you can see these are the only item that actually, when you take over the site, that you can see. All right, so pick it up. You have to pick it up. Okay, because this may affect your ceiling level. This may affect your design. This may affect especially your MEP. Okay. So over here, we do have some sample that we always try to survey from the hoarding line, okay, which this is done by one of our colleagues last time in Zegna MPS. Okay, so this is the hoarding plan, okay, which landlord also will do the inspection. Take note on this. We will have to inspect everything within our hoarding area or even outside our hoarding area. Okay, because end of the day, the landlord will come and do an inspection. Any damage, the contractor will bear for it. But end of the day, we as a main con, we also don't know who damage. So normally main con will bear for it. Oh, these are some of the examples that you can see. We will pick up, all right, and we will indicate stone chipped, especially stone chipped most of the time. Okay, because after that, there's nothing for us. We not even need to indicate the bulkhead damage or this because it's within the lease line. These are basically outside the lease line. Pick up as much as you can. Okay, on the survey wise, okay, important is also the cargo lift and also the access from your loading bay all the way to your working site. Okay, why we would like to have the measurement of all this? Okay, I'm not so sure. Do you understand why we want to have the measurement of all this? This actually will affect on our production side. When they design something or when they want to create something due to uncertain reason, they cannot be dismantled, so they need to make into a big piece. So they at least need to know what is the bigger size that they can make. If they make something that more than 1.8, 3 meter by 3 meter, do you think this lift can go in? Cannot. So what's the point of making the 3 meter by 3 meter? So if they don't make by 3 meter by 3 meter, they will have another technical issue. So this type of information is always, we will pick it up and pass it out. Okay, so at least when doing their engineering design stage, they were able to try to make it into 1.8 by 1.6 or 1.7 by 2.5, within the tolerance of the services. Okay, because if you make something that's bigger than all this, do you think that you dismantle the door or you want to chain another cargo lift? We can't do that. Okay, so there's always a lot of challenge around the loading and unloading in this way because this is affecting our production engineering design. So over here, this is one of the example when we take over the store, which is under construction. I think so far, most of you all will not be, only basically the facade team and GC team will face of this. Okay. So regardless whether it's facade team or GC team, when we take over the site which is under construction, and this is the figure that we always see. Okay. We don't see a zero. We will see all these figure, 45.550. Right. So this is in the construction building. You don't see that they will indicate for you a FFL 1 meter, never. But they will indicate for you is 42.550. Okay, just very simple explanation only. Okay. Regardless is 42.550 or the next level that you all can see is 43.650. Meaning that 42 minus 43, there's a 3 meter in difference. So you may take as 42550 as your FFL 0. Because in the construction, they don't indicate you 1 meter. These are the sea level building level. Okay. So if you are taking over the site with the construction, this is what you see. Okay. But you can presume that this is your FFL 1 meter. Okay. So over here, we do have a list of equipment, all right, which the company now is also, I think most of them know. We are trying to have all the project team to be equipped onto the minimum requirement it should be. Okay, right? So the team should have all will be equipped with all these. Think of this. So it's nothing new, it's nothing special. Okay, but it need to be equipped. Okay, because it's sometimes some of them not even have a measuring thing. So try not to. Okay, over here we have a site measurement. So after we take over the site, there will be a schedule of taking over the site. After that, we will start our first action. And this is the first action that all the projects should proceed. Site measurement. So site measurement here, we will be using the method of setting into a 3 meter by 3 meter. Okay. So 3 meter by 3 meter, pick up as much as you can. All right. Pick up as much as you can. After all the measurement have been picked up, send it back to the grapher. Grapher will still use the 3 meter by 3 meter to be superimposed into the rest of the shop drawing. All right. But over here, just to take note, all right, please indicate your SP point. That is the most important. Because whatever you do, never change your SP point. Once you change the SP point and it's not being highlighted, most of the rest of the trade will have a wrong information. Okay, and always must control your SP point. We call setting point. So this setting point is over here, right? So how to get all this out of setting point? Work as a team. right? If you want to have any problem, then go to another superior. They will let you know how to get the setting point. Because you can see there's a setting point here, but how to mark this on site, basing on what, you know. So you have to work as a team. All the trade must agree on one setting point, okay, to get the site measurement. Pick up as much as you can, but over here, I also do encourage sometimes just to do a double check. Is I think most of you are educated, you should know what is called triangle. So sometimes just to pick up corner to corner existing column dimension, just to find out the site measurement. That's all. So this is the most important part. So pay more attention on this setting up, because if the first step is wrong, all the behind stage is 100% wrong. Okay. And this is for the list line. Okay. It's a little bit complicated, as you can see. Because on site wise, there's only one line over here, nothing for you. So normally we try to have some spacing to get the correct measurement. Okay. But you can go up to 600 or go up to 1 meter, see how straight is the line is. Just to think of this. Because this is the scenario for the curve. For the curve is the most difficult to pick up. Okay, how you measure the curve this line to pick it up. So you only can go by spacing to pick up the curve. All right. So these are some sample that you can see, but nevertheless, don't look at this gentleman here. He's not wearing a proper attire. All right. So look at how they will try to pick it up. There's always they put a laser on the center. Okay. Go for your left, go for your right, always by your laser. Okay. So take note, the laser must be there, because most of our colleagues, all right, they were just using a measuring tape, measure from here to here. After that, they measure from here to here, and that's it. But they're not sure that the wall is falling this way or the wall is falling this way, because they never put the laser as a cross. So they just measure the height. On the left side is 8 meter, the right side is 7.9. So this is to them is 8 meter, 7.9. But that is wrong, because you'll never know the 8 meter is falling which side. So try to have a laser to have a center line as a cross. Okay. Measure left to left, right to right. Okay, get the correct way of where the thing is falling. So there's also a 1 meter. So most of them is using the log more as a 1 meter reference. So the more is also not a zero. Correct. So if the more is not a zero level or FFL 1 meter, you need to identify yourself. Okay. My always suggestion is go for the main entrance and fix that as your FFL. You only fix 1 point. Okay. So the rest of the left right must follow to do adjustment accordingly. Okay. Because the more floor level is also not going to be FFL 0 throughout left to right. It's not. Okay. I faced 75 mm indifferent before. 75. My eyes also can see, not even need a measuring tape. So those are horrible level. Okay. So if we will have this issue, just raise up to the designer or the architect or even to the client. We can't do anything because it's more level than all this. Okay, so the list line always there is a standard procedure is there is a divider. Okay. I believe this is a very standard procedure for all the mall. Even in overseas, we also will see this. Okay, it's only maybe, okay, some of the country we don't see. Okay. But so far, it's a standard still, it's the one that we consider as a list line. Right. So this is a site taking over and possession, okay? Because there is always a site taking over from thing on this. And all this must better be safe keep and also share with the client side, because end of the day, this is going to be the reason statement document. Okay. So all will have. So far is 100%. So make sure all this been safe keep. So after that, you will have to site protection. This is going to be a site. All right. So basically, as I said, it should be a scenario number 2. Most of us thinking over the site is all the bare finish. Okay. So when hoarding work, there's two. Either is sometimes it's built by the landlord side, and sometimes it's built by main con side. All right. So regardless whether it's built by main con or landlord side, it's also better double check the hoarding, make sure it's suitable for our usage. Because sometimes they build the door onto another area, which it doesn't show us. Why? In the new design, it's a fixed class. So it need to be altered. So take note, for the hoarding wise, what we are looking at is the access. Make sure the access is also along with your new design main entrance. Okay. So you can see most of the hoarding, our design is always, we want it to be in line with the new design entrance. Oh, try not to be on the side. Oh, try not to be. Okay. So for the hoarding work wise, I think project team, they are very familiar with the hoarding so far. Okay, to what I can see. Right. So always is the graphic, verify the graphic issue. Okay. Before you don't want to become a cartoon also, the wrong graphic or the wrong dimension of the graphic. Okay, which I just now highlight, the access door must be aligned with our shopfront entrance. Okay, this is for working purposes wise. Ensure minimum distance. I think this is going to be subjective. Most of the landlord will only give you a 600 spacing, but we always are trying to request for 1 meter. That is good for our facade. But most of the landlord given to you is 600. But sometimes we still want to write in strongly to get it. If not, it will be very difficult to construct our facade. Okay, right. We do not want to keep go through with the experience of remove the hoarding. After that, morning put back the hoarding. At night take out the hoarding. Morning go put back the hoarding. You know that is very hectic. Some of you all will not know, but those have worked in this method before, is they know it's very hectic. Okay, but between the hoarding and our working area, all right, make sure we put some protection onto the wall. Okay. Quality control wise, definitely for the hoarding wise, always structure, make sure it to be firm. All right, these are just construction detail issue, but also critical. All right. For the floor script wise, all right, this is actually what we start is the internal our work procedure. Okay, because always the first thing the project team will do is always floor script. But the floor script, they will have two type of floor script. The first script is actually they will do a very flat area. Okay, the reason is they want to do the setting up. So they did not full script on the floor before they do the setting up. Okay, so they would, because they couldn't able to find out or get the proper concealed area. Okay, so they will do a very simple flat area. After that, they will do the setting up. So once the setting out is done, they will lay in the concealed floor. Okay. So over here, we do propose is the concealed routine to take photo and to mark out in the drawing, because most of the brand itself do have the concealed floor. Most of the brand. Okay, nearly 90%, or I can say 100%. But the quantity is different. Some is only quite minimum, some is quite a lot. Okay. So the setting of 1 meter is also very important. Make sure all to follow whichever the PIC identified and sign off, that is the 1 meter. If not, I can tell you, if you don't indicate to your colleague, other trade would take as other reference as 1 meter. Ended up both of you are having a discrepancy. Okay, that's the reason why I was highlighting just now. The mall is not going to be level. So which will be your 1 meter? So that's why my suggestion is the main entrance, your future main entrance. That will be 1 meter. Okay. So try to do some marking or whatever to identify that is the 1 meter and use that and transfer it onto the wall, to the column, whatever you can. So you have the 1 meter. Okay. So take note on this. After that, they will do the floor split according to different materials, thickness here and there. Basically, it's front of house and back of house, different level. Okay. So the work to be carried out accordingly to the environment to meet, meaning that weather, temperature, or moisture in-house wise, okay, for the floor split, I would say so it's not so hectic, okay, for the moisture or this, but only later stage when you come to the floor finishes there will be. Because for the floor split itself is not a concrete, so the curing is not 21 days or 14 days, okay. For the floor split, curing is 48 hours. Do it this way, 48 hours. But the mixing itself is the most important. Make sure your contractor mixing is correct. Okay. That's why some of you all can see why the floor screen is hollow. Why? First thing is the mixing content ratio is wrong. Second, okay, they do on a fast way without doing a good bonding between the slab and the new floor screen. And that is why you cause hollow. Okay. Third, because of the existing slab is so dusty, it was not being cleaned or even applied with a milky adhesive. That is why you have hollow. If you do not want to do and rehack again, make sure the mixing is correct. Okay, and make sure it's not too dusty on the slab floor. If not, all right, you will be facing hack off redo. Okay, and this have been already happened. Okay, we also face this in our recent project also. Follow. So try to avoid this. It's a simple procedure, very simple work. But once you are not concentrate, you will do a hectic work and a double job. Okay. So here you can see, as I mentioned, you must clean the original floor. Do not have too much dust. Okay. Right. Set up the control line surrounding wall. Okay. Moisten the floor and a coat of layer of cement before concreting. This is rather concreting or sandscape. All right. It's the same. All right. You can actually also just using the cement mix with water and apply it onto the slab to have a cement slab bonding. Okay. You can also can have the milky chemical. I think some of you all know. Okay. Especially you have worked with a well contractor before, but they do not want to use too much of milky just because of cost. Take note of this. So if you all will do negotiate with the contractor, please to identify we want a milky. It's actually not a very huge cost, but to a contractor, it's because of the cost. Cement is cheaper than the milky drum. Okay, that's the reason. Oh, so look into it. This have to carry out because if the contractor don't carry out this item, 100% I will guarantee you, you will face the whole lot. Okay, and no need to go and find out why. Okay, because they never follow the procedure accordingly. That's why. Okay, concreting from inside towards outside. Okay, it is subjective. Okay, PIC you have to base on the site, your scenario, to whether inside outside or outside towards inside. Please be a little bit flexibility. Okay, do not pinpoint over here that SOP tell us concreting is from inside to outside. It's just only a guideline. Okay, why we say inside to outside? Just that simple common sense will tell you. Correct. From inside you move all the way out. That's all. Right. So look into it. Be flexible a bit. All right. Leveling the concrete according to the control line. Over here is simple enough to tell you leveling. Everyone also know leveling. But the thing is, how to know, how to check, how to make sure it's leveling. Okay. First thing is normally in the cement, there is a 1 meter by 1 meter level pack, we call. Okay. But so far, I don't see much or most of them doing this practice. Some of them they practice in this way. All right. putting the level pack, dry for 1 day. After that, that is the level pack that we check all the level. After that, we can close our eyes because you have to follow the level pack one. That's all. So actually, this is the leveling of the concrete we are calling is the level pack. The good practice is do the level pack 1 day before the frost split. Okay. After that, just to check the level pack. The level pack spacing is 1 meter by 1 meter in the square. Okay. Some can go up to 1.2 by 1.2. Okay. Because they follow their foot. You know the foot, which you can see the wet worker that they do have a wooden floor. So the wooden floor itself is 2 meter. So they will never put the level pack more than the 2 meter. Okay. So the maximum you will only go is 1.8. But normally I will propose to them do in the square of 1.2 by 1.2. That is easy to control for the level pack wise. Okay. For those who never practice on this, that is why you all can see your floor level is this way. Why? No matter how skillful you are, okay, you couldn't able to judge the cement itself and the sand itself, the ratio mixing, and also the setting. All right, because of the mixing ratio, the setting timing is totally different. Okay, you think that you are level after 12 hours it dry, it's sunken down. How? Patch up, lor. So if you all would like to use the word patch up, now is the time that you all can try to avoid a bit. Go for the level pack. Okay. It's just that because of the contractor, sometimes they are too lazy. They think that their skill is up to them. But I tell you, it's not. That is why the level pack is for. Okay. So covering the floor and sprinkle water within 12-hour curing. This is only referring for the concrete wise. So when we do floor split wise, okay, as I say, right, you do not require any sprinkle water, or to cover the floor for curing. Let it cure naturally. Okay. After you do all your floors, split setting, this is what you're going to start to do your site working. All right. You will have to raise up the discrepancy because all in hand, you are only having the design intent. Okay. You only have your site measurement and use your site measurement to against the design intent, you will find all the discrepancy. Okay. You cannot say that the design intent drawing is wrong because the design intent drawing is for you to do the tendering and do the management planning, right? It's not for your site work. There is no design intent drawing to do a site work. Take note on this. Even now, I will give you a construction set of drawing. It's not for you to construct to the site. Take note. There always is a small wording in the drawing. Everything subject to site. Take note on this wording. There is. So take note on the drawing wise, because most of us always like to say that the drawing is wrong. But what is wrong? The thing is, when we say something is wrong, or when we say to a technical person, we need to be more little bit technical. Because when we say in general, the drawing is wrong. But what is wrong? But who tell you it's right, man? You understand what I mean? Because the first thing, our intent is design intent. It's not for you to construction. Site measurement, yes. But there will be adjustment need to be done. And that is 100%. So highlight the discrepancy and do the necessary adjustment. Okay, the adjustment is subjective. Try not to affect too much, right, on the design. Okay, unless the discrepancy is very huge, it come out to 350 mm in different or whatever. Okay, but most of them is not too much of huge discrepancy that I can see so far. Okay, so all this is keep close with your design or architect after your site survey or your site measurement with this. You will have to go through this process. You will. But if you do only find out it's a very minor discrepancy, okay, do it parallel process. Okay, if not, there will be a ding dong here and there. Once you set up the site setting, always we will have a client inspection. This always be request. Some client come, some client don't come. Regardless they come or don't come, we still always send official to request for their inspection. Okay, just to double confirm and double check. Here we do have a setting out standard in this way. Okay, we are trying to get all the things to be more standardized. All right. So all these please read through accordingly because both of them have practiced accordingly. Although we did indicate over here or we did want to spell over here, but the action is still the most important, right? We also sometimes too tired to keep telling housekeeping, housekeeping. Housekeeping, there's a lot of way. Identify the correct location for this contractor or whatever. Control the contractor material that coming into the site. Okay, right? Sometimes I can see on the site is the whole lot of ducting is on site, but no one is working on the ducting work. Then what is the reason not to bring in the site? You know, so these are the control that also will help out on your housekeeping. Okay, housekeeping wise is actually is have to be practiced because of all the below, all related. It's all related. You just imagine your whole place is full of ducting, full of electrical, full of system board. How you want to go and take all your height? You can't do anything at all. You know, you can't even walk into the column to go and find a 1 meter line. You know, so all this actually affect. Take note on this because all this is no point for us to keep educate. You know, make smooth and clean surface. All this, I believe. If I give you a rough surface, I give you a dirty floor, you think you can mark or not? Cannot, right? So eventually, you know, housekeeping is the word that we use here, but this is the standard or requirement that we would like you all to maintain. Okay, right. So setting out wise, we already have been try a few projects, and now you can see this is the latest setting out. We are using metal sheet. Take note, all project stuff, all take note. After all your setting out, all the shop front, facade, and also the furniture, we are using the aluminum sheet. So make sure once you take over the site, this is the first item to be requested. Okay? Because it's no point we mark the feature and then we start to move here, move there. It's no use. Right? So make make use of the aluminum sheet. If you can, write some wording or write in the feature model number or whatever, you know. It's better also to identify where is the PowerPoint. Okay. Because we should learn from our experience. We always having our PowerPoint is always so unlucky. Okay. I think project team should understand why I highlight. When we always provide on the left, the point is on the right. When we provide on the right, the point is on the left. So why don't we make use of all these template to also identify where should be the PowerPoint connection? So because of all this, if we will study on it, we will save us a lot. Okay. If for my case, I will sure indicate where is the PowerPoint is. Since I already have the feature here, why don't indicate? So look into it, improve on it. All right. This is just for you to review yourself. Right. This is also the color code that we use to do our setting up. Okay. Include some of the bulkhead here that you can see. So these are the feature. Last time that how we do podium, we just have to mark in this way, the light at the center. But this is have been taken over from the first photo, which I highlighted. These are some of the reference, and we try to standardize. Okay, partition wall, try to use the red color, loose feature, blue color, light coat, green color. We try to standardize this. Okay, unless you all find that we need more color or whatever, you all can propose. But we always try to see whether get it into a standardized, so everyone can just no need to remember. We get used to it. So these are the ceiling level that we also want to identify on the site. Okay. And always try to practice on this. Okay. Because once you identify all this on the site, you already have been captured in your drawing how many level you do have. Okay. Because sometimes you have your light post, after that your bulkhead, LED, after that then your ceiling. Sometimes you have 3 levels, sometimes you have 4 level. Whatever ceiling level you do have, okay, I do encourage mark it onto the wall. You mark it one time, no need to remember unless change of drawing. Okay, and with this marking, you were able to identify all the existing services which is below the ceiling. Okay, so this is a fanciful marking, all right. So you can see we mark whatever we can. Okay, well, so for the setting out in the floor, we went through, right? So the next item is definitely the partition. Okay, so for the partition wise, we do have the condition, what you need to take care, what you need to know. Okay, but the procedure wise, as I think most of you all know that we always have our subcon to do the supply install. Okay, but how close are you with the contractor workers and how they build? Did they build correctly or not? Okay. So for the condition wise, okay, just go through on this procedure. All right. Important only item is make sure you get the correct material and make sure you have study any conceal conduit, especially. Okay. And this is the one that always we have to take out, lay in the conduit and install back. Okay. Because we never check. So this is the only thing that I would like you to check. Okay. Because this is the always missing item. The way that to construct the metal stud, all this, okay, to install the conduit reinforcement part. This is actually just to let you all to have further understanding knowledge. But the best way is get the specification, build the thing as a specification. Take note, any partition, any ceiling, anything, there is a specification. Always make sure your contractors submit. From now onwards, there will be no shortcut for them. Okay, we would like to see all the specification. Okay, because the material itself there's a lot. All right, all right. Oh, even gypsum board or even plywood, MDF board, fire rated, all different kind of thickness. Okay, put it this way. Oh, I will not go through in items, so just please read accordingly yourself. But over here, I would say so that some of the item you must take note why we indicate to a landlord work inspection, because some of the landlord, before you post the board, they want to see. All right, they want to take a look. These are we pick from certain of the spec. Different brand of partition, they do come in different spec. Take note on this. Take note. Okay, because there is a lot of brand. All right, there is a lot. Different supplier, they will come in a different kind of construction method to you. Okay, so that is the reason why I say you must have the spec. Bora, okay, or framework, or MNF, right, or Miko, or whatever they do have. Okay, so they will have the spec for you on your certain partition that you want to build. 1 hour, 2 hour, 4 hour. Okay, and the other one when we say normal partition. Okay, if for me wise, I will not say normal partition because what is called normal partition? What partition is normal? Don't have. Partition only come in 75 partition or 100 partition. Okay, there is no wording of called normal partition. Right. So think on this. These are some of the wording that you can see here and there. But if you want to be more understanding of the U start or the vertical start, or even how they actually supportive clip, different brand do different way of installation. Okay, try to go for the specification. Okay, because most of the contractor would like to implement by themselves. Once I tell them to sign, they don't know how to sign because they implement themselves. Okay. So over here, It's just only certain information for you. Most of the PowerPoint that we want to highlight is actually there should be another horizontal framing. Okay, right. But sometimes I see the contractor, they never put in the horizontal framing for the PowerPoint or for the junction box. Okay. These are only some information of the door detail installation, all right? Door frame installation detail. Okay. You all may study yourself because there's a lot of way to install a door frame. Okay. It doesn't mean to be installed by from behind. The only criteria that we want to highlight here is take note because in the building, normally what we do, there is a subframe we call. So if some of y'all will be in the construction, I'm not sure, do y'all heard about any wording we call a subframe? In fact, this piece here is the subframe. So this subframe is actually will be attached to the main frame first, to the structure, then come in the door frame. Okay. So in the construction wise, you will see a wording that we call subframe, put in this way. But in the renovation wise, you don't see. Okay, you will see a lot of different kind of installation method. Okay, so to me is there is no standard of installation of door frame subject to your detailing. Some install from behind, some install from the front. Okay, right. Look into the structure to hold the door frame. That's all. Okay, it's because of the structure itself. It's not firm enough. That is why we always have a lot of problem to do maintenance on the door. Why? Because there's no additional support for the door frame. The door frame will just simply go and tie onto the partition runner. It cannot stay one because of the doorway itself, because of the bank itself, because of the airflow on both area is different. Okay, which once there is no structure element, the door frame or the door we're going to give you a lot of maintenance. And we already went through a lot. And that's the reason why I have already instructed most of the project team guys, please, the door area must add in the hollow section. If not, we're going to waste a lot of money to do the maintenance for the door and the door will never close. That is the problem. This is the one that I do not encourage you all to install because there is no structure element here. And the door itself, when you keep bending, this partition framing is not going to take the doorway. 100%, it will not take the doorway. Or at least you still put in a timber, or at least on the door area, you all should go for a hollow section. Okay. You rather do it now or to face it later. So for the partition work, okay, some quality control you all take note. For the metal stud, vertical less than 3M. Do you think you all check? Do you think so? I don't think so. Okay. Okay, this is some of the quality control that we would like to implement. All right. So you all try to take note. I know it's the responsible of the subcon, but do you know that the screw didn't tie onto the metal frame? How you know? Or how you don't know? Tell me. Hmm? How to check? Do you all know that the screw never tie onto the metal frame? Because you all see only the screw. But do you know the screw is tied onto the metal frame or not? So these are the some of the items that when we face some defect, we don't know what is the problem. Okay. So that's why I'm telling you. Some of the decent board is not being tied onto the stud. That is the problem. Okay. And the edge of the board tying onto the stud is too near to the edge. The board is just for fun only. That's all. So take note on this. In fact, because of all this, that's why you all do face a certain alignment is out. When you install this, the wall is falling off. Why? Because these are the issues that cause you why. Okay. We do only give some guideline here, right? But flexibility is all the PIC or the site stuff. It's you all to look into it. You want to avoid your unnecessary repair work or alteration work. These are the thing. Because worker also don't know. They just only try and make sure the board is there only. That's it. Okay. For double layer partition wise, okay, to only pay attention is only make sure go staggered. You must go staggered. Okay. And this is very depend on the worker. Trust me on that. A double layer. All right. Who can tell me first layer how many screw you're going to tie? Hmm? Then the second layer, how many screw you're going to tie? Simple question, right? I think my simple question to you is for you to find the answer yourself. Okay. First layer, how many screw? Second layer, how many screw? Hopefully you can get an answer in near future. This will improve your knowledge and you will understand what I want to highlight. Okay. All right. But the most important thing is you have to judge yourself is right or wrong. Okay. So over here, they do also guide you, okay, on the double layer, all right, how to screw is go about. So you can see the first layer, they go by the spacing of 500. When the second layer, they go by the spacing of 200 and 300. Okay. But with this drawing, refresh what you all see on site. Is it that's the way? I tell you it's not. So in your near future, when you construct double layer, which way you think you should do? Subcon way? Or you want to do it this way? Okay. So enjoy looking onto all these, okay? Because I think most of you, if we don't show this, I don't think so. You know what I'm talking about, right? But also to be a little bit flexible enough, okay? We as a construction or renovation contractor, all right? Sometimes we also have some flexibility. Don't when sometimes first layer they go by 550, then all the funny temper or whatever is not okay. Sometimes it's just flexibility. Okay, do not go more than the 600. That's what I can tell you. Anything more than 600, reject. You must reject. Okay, you must reject. Anything within the 600, 520, 580, 550 is acceptable. It's okay. But it's not for you to educate the worker or the contractor in this way. You should just show them this photo. Then go and ask them, is this wrong? No. You code accordingly in this way, you build in this way. Okay? Huh? So study on this, okay? Because all different kind of partition do have their different way of installation. Think on this. Okay. To add on the partition, you think, look, this is a gypsum board way of installation. It's not a plywood installation method. It's also not MDF installation method. Okay, right? I'm not so sure. Do you are able to find for me MDF installation method and the plywood installation method? If you do have, share with me. Okay. If you do not have, in that case, in which method you install is correct. Hmm? Oh, just look into that. Refresh yourself also. Find a way for yourself. You can use the same method over here. The MDF board is harder than the gypsum board. So automatically, I'm telling you the spacing, you can be further. Do not too close. The reason why is do not too close is because of the movement. All right. MDF board is too hard. Plywood is too hard compared to a gypsum board. So there is no tolerance for the movement. So if you will put it too back, you're going to face crack throughout. Because there is no way for them to move around, so you will face a crack. So put in this way, Do not go as decent board spacing to school. Okay, you can actually add in 1.5. Okay, meaning that for using an MDF board, the first layer you can go from 600 to 700. Okay, for the second layer, go from 300 up to 400. Okay, widen up the space of the school. Yeah. Okay, for the electrical work wise, okay, I know that we are very weak in MEP, okay, which I do realize. Okay, so project team wise, I also will try to strengthen all our MEP knowledge. Okay, because as a project team wise, it's not only partition, ceiling, all this. MEP is also the major part of the contract. It's always pick up from your contract, 25%. Okay, you just imagine you have lack of 25% to concentrate on your MEP work. And when we talk about sum, that is huge. Okay. In theoretical work, I only able to pick up or to highlight those are important area in the technical wise or whether in the negotiate pricing wise. Okay. Trunking compute. Right. When we say choose correct trunking and tray, uh, either there is a MEP consultant. If there is no MEP consultant, it will be very difficult for you guys to judge 75 mm or 100 mm or 50 mm. Okay, so you have to work with the contractor very closely. That's the first thing. Okay, second thing is contractor is not all a good contractor. Some are just haywire contractor. Do it this way. They are also human being. We also human being. Okay, so try to choose the correct size of the tray. Right. The wiring wise, all right. These are more on technical. We have to learn from the technical guys. Okay, we have to learn more from our M&D technical guys also. Okay, cabling, there's a few sizes. There's isolator sizes, there is also normal power point sizes, there's also lighting point sizes taking this. Okay. Try to more concentrate to be a little bit understanding on the MEP. The most difficult part for you guys will be the MCB. How to design the MCB to accumulate for the whole stock. Okay. So this is the subjective item over here. All right. It's all depend on how much lighting, ELCB, all this it will take into consideration to design for a MCB. Okay. But normally, if you all have ran through on certain project, you all should know what is the size of your store. You should know your MCB, what is the size. Okay. I will not go through lighting and socket installation because these are very standard procedure, but it's just to make sure that you all do just follow up here and there. Okay. Testing wise, okay. Try to always make sure you attend for this procedure, testing report. You have to attend for this. Make sure next time our guy will have to attend. HVAC aircon. So this is also a very technical item over here. Okay. So only thing is we'll try to highlight here for you to take note. Just try to take note. Okay. For the design wise, even you can see the drawing, but you couldn't able to understand whether the design is correct or wrong. So if there's an MEP consultant, it's fine. If there's no MEP consultant, there will be a difficulty. Okay, because most of us is depend on the contractor. Okay, because on the HVAC wise, it's little bit complicated. It depends on the capacity of the FCU. Okay, to design for the ducting, right? And the ducting size will have to be designed in a sense like sprinkler, big to small. It go by volume. So normally it go by the meter cube. Okay. And because of the airflow calculation, the airflow calculation is calculated by the diffuser outlet. Okay. So all this is more towards a little bit of technical, very technical. Uh, I will advise, okay, all the team, if you all do have a chance to work with the HVAC again, be more precise on their item. Learn from them. Okay. Learn from them. Okay. Because in the contract wise, I know that it's always is a lump sum basis. Ducting, lump sum. Everything is lump sum. Okay. But you can forget about the contract wise, look into the drawing. Oh. Why is it from 620 ducting go down to 300 by 200 ducting, after that branch by flexible? Okay. So that is what we say, look into the design, okay, study more, have more understanding, okay. If you all do face any issue here and there, either you can come to my side here, right? Because it's too difficult to go through a training to tell you how to study or how to understand about HVAC, okay, because there is a lot of technical involved. Okay. But a few items you all must look into it. As I said, maybe you don't understand the design, but look into it. Then raise up to the question. Definitely, I will not go through the quotation or this and that because there is another complicated design area. So, but learn from the contractor that have been selected for your project. Okay, learn from them. So same to the equipment installation, all this and that. Okay. I will not go through all this because all this technical wise, you need to go through. Okay. But only in the process that time, during the work in progress, right? Then you'll more understanding over here. But nevertheless, use this as your guideline also. At least when you talk to any of the contractor, use this as your guideline. Okay. Oh, okay, ceiling framework. After your MEP work, you should come to your ceiling or your light cove with this. Okay. We are unable to identify every single item over here. All right. So here we will only go for the majority ceiling work. So same. Ceiling work wise is always related to the MEP work. It's always related, 100% related. Okay. So when you all do have weekly meeting, which I do encourage, always have the ceiling contractor and all the MEP contractor all put together. Anyone that's about the ceiling work, put them all together. Simple enough to understand. Okay, no need to be so complicated. Okay. So ceiling height, all this is actually not from here, then you have to identify it's actually during the MVP work. All this should be identified and not during the ceiling framework. Okay. It's just that this is one of the checklists for you all. Just to double check. Okay. So 2.1, you can see over here, we say mark the control height on the wall. This is what just now I highlighted in one of the example photo. Okay. If you have 5 ceiling height, just mark all the 5 on site. Okay. No need to remember, just mark. That's all. Okay. One simple action will solve throughout your whole project. That's all. Okay. So for all these building hole here and there is same thing. Please get all the spec from whichever selected ceiling contractor. Okay. We, as I mentioned again, we want to see all the spec for all trade. All right. What type of hanger they use, even what type of wire they want to use, all to submit for approval before they proceed. Okay. Because they have been using less than a 14 mm gauge of wire, and we also do allow. Is something wrong? Okay. But this we can't blame our guy because maybe they couldn't understand it. So, but now we highlighted over here. All right. A 14 mm below wire gauge is not allowed to use for hanging any ceiling because it will not take the weight. Hanger rod is also part of the specification in the supplier itself. Okay. If you will go into the supplier, you will have all this spec. Okay. That's the reason if the contractor will be supply install, submit the spec for approval. Okay. But take note, the spec itself will not be just indicate in this way, hanger rod, hanger part, all this. No. It will be actually have another pages will tell you all the thickness, what is the sizes, everything. Okay. It's not just only this sort of simple wording. It's not. Okay, for the sprinkle work, actually the sprinkle work it should be together with the MEP work. It's just that sometimes we just arrange it on the site work sequence. That's why after the sealing, you can see there will be sprinkle work. Okay, but regardless which procedure, it's still the same. You still need to complete anything above the sealing work. So the sprinkle main work is always the above the sealing work. Okay. So for the sprinkle work wise, okay, most of them is nominated by the landlord. Most of them, but I don't use the word 100% over here because some more do allow you to use your outsource. Okay, so please subjective yourself. First priority is always go for the nominated land by landlord. No need to consider. Okay. So take note, even if we are using the nominate of the contractor, okay, nominated by landlord. Okay. Also, please learn from them because in technical wise, we know or on all procedure wise, we also understand they are professional because they nominated by the landlord. Yes, but that is much better for you guys to go and learn. You already can tell me that they are professional. They are nominated by the landlord. Then in that case, there should be no question for you to go and learn from them. Am I right? Because I can see that for this item here, we have been always get into our mindset is nominated by the landlord. Nothing for us to worry about. Yes. It's not a matter of we worry or not worry. It's the matter of how you can further improve yourself. Okay. Hopefully you'll get what I want to highlight. Okay. So also try to make them as a subcontractor, attend the site meeting, site kickoff meeting, coordinate with the rest of the contractor, I do encourage, learn from all these guys. They are nominated, okay? There is no doubt on them. Because the landlord, you all should understand, they won't go and choose a Kuching Pura contractor to as a nominated. It's not. They have run the whole building. They are more familiar. That is 100%. My advice only over here is take the experience from them as much as you can. So for your fire sprinkler work, is actually all this is actually what we went through. Is also is what we learned from them. The only thing is the smoke attraction system. Okay, I think if I say this word over here, the smoke attraction system, even the project team now also what is the smoke attraction system? Okay, why is under the sprinkler? In some of the building there is, they know what this there is. They can be a smoke curtain, they can be a duct. Okay, right. So think on this. So far, the project team do not really face on this smoke attraction system. So far, the only face is only the smoke curtain. But there is a system in this. So the rest, it should be very familiar, like smoke detector, hydrant, sprinkler, strobe light, all these. Okay, I think project team, you are very familiar with all these, but nevertheless, have more understanding and have a separate file for all your fire sprinkler work, it will be improve your knowledge very soon. Okay. All this concealed inspection, okay, if we already say that it's going to be by the in-house, that's why the in-house will have all this area cover. Okay. But they know on some regulation, On different area, they do come in a different kind of regulation. Okay. Oh, so there is some like distance between the water pipe and the gas pipe, okay, between the data trunking and the electrical trunking, what should be the spacing? These two try not to be put together because you will have your data having a big problem. Okay. So take note on all this. Okay. Normally to be make it more simple enough, you straight away just go for 600 in different can already. Okay. Meaning that make sure the two pipe or the two tray or whatever, go for 600 spacing. It's easy to remember with this way. Okay. So this is some of the item that one you ought to just avoid, okay, for unnecessary, because some of them they do not have knowledge on all this. They will put the data and the electrical trunking parallel, okay, and that will cause you data issue. Okay, for this ground waterproofing, all this and that, I think waterproofing procedure, I think most of them should know. Okay, fine. Just try to go for the spec. Oh, just go for the spec. And I think waterproofing testing you should know. Go for 48 hours. Okay. Not put water and take out water and tell me no leaking. That is not the correct way. Okay. Okay, these are lightweight reinforcement, waterproofing, all this. Okay, it's just for you to understanding uh knowledge. Okay, because I think most of you will not face this issue at all. Okay. So the fire protection, which this one is actually item number 1 and 2. Just think on accordingly. So all this you can see here when we say consumer inspection is actually we would like you all to conduct your necessary checklist or make sure the contractor highlight back to you everything is done, but you all must go for all these checklists, okay, before we want to start to close up the ceiling door. For the rest of the like fireproofing or sound insulation, all this, go according to the spec because it's too complicated to really tell you how to check the soundproof. When we say soundproof partition, how to check soundproof? Then it's okay. 100% will not know how to answer. It's all right. Because everyone know soundproof, right? Correct. What is the PSI? Testing a soundproof is by PSI, meaning that one person when you talk here, the other person on the other side using a PSI to measure. Okay, if the PSI is less than 56, it's soundproof approved. The regulation you can find in the MOM, but MOM is more to public, okay, for the PSI. So that is how we actually check for soundproof. Okay. So that's why I say on this SOP here, right, we cannot make you to become Superman or Supergirl or whatever, but you can be able to improve a little bit of your knowledge. Okay. You do realize whatever we spell here, there is still more range to go because it's too far away. But it's only by the years come by, improve your knowledge. That's all. Okay. So for the soundproof, all these, as I said, go by the spec, make sure the layer by layer. How to test it, I will tell you. But whether you will carry out or not, I will tell you 99% will not carry out. Okay. For the flooring wise, when we say apply a layer of substrate treatment agent, okay, we use the word treatment agent, okay, which I just not really highlighted. You can have cement mixed with the water, okay, be more liquid, pour onto the slab before you stick. Or you can use the milky adhesive, okay, for that. Okay, the wooden nail need to be treated with moisture or earth resistant when they. Okay, this is actually for your wooden timber floor. I think most of our guys already have good experience on this. They really basically they will also know how to prepare the humidifier, okay, to go for the moisture control. So for the wooden issue wise, okay, this is a very standard procedure. Okay, check all the moisture content. That's what I can say. It's very subjective to individual client supply material. Okay, pure supply one is a little bit too soft, but the coach timber is quite hard. So subjective. Okay, for the partition wise, okay, for all these, you all have to just take note. Okay, it's for you all to have some checking procedure. Okay, right. You have to just read through once. It may be applied, it may be not applicable. Okay, but as I say, there is some guideline for you guys just to think note of that. Okay. But please be a little bit uh flexible a bit here and there, because don't, here say 200, then you measure 210, you go and get the contractor to dismantle everything and redo. It's not a proper way. Give them a warning, should be the proper way, you know. So look into it, the way that you have to fight or keep close to the subcon. They should know they are the professional, right? Oh. But don't be surprised when you ask some of those subcon, they couldn't give you an answer. So what you think? What you think? Okay. So this is more imprecise to let you all more like go into like more professional than that. Okay. If you don't believe, try it out. Go and ask the contractor. Okay. And tell me what's the spacing they will tell you. And I can say that they will tell you it's 450. So if they tell you it's 450, simple. Don't argue. Tell them give you the spec. If you do have the spec, sign off. It's okay. Oh, if they can able to send you the spec. Okay, so for the partition wise, apply party work, okay, all this and that. This is okay, this is to your is simple enough, right? Apply party work. Who can tell me what happened if there's a crack? Apply again and then paint again. You see? And why there will be a crack? So these are the things that you have to look into it, okay? Because the crack itself is either by the process is wrong, or the screw tighten is wrong, or the screw spacing is too far away, or there is too tight material, or the material itself is a hard material. Okay, look into that, because that is the one that's going to give you the crack issue. It's not the putty process will give you the issue. Okay, everyone know putty there's how many layer. Okay, think on that. Okay, make sure you go by 3 layer. Think note. Because by the width of the putty, we will know whether the contractor had done the correct way. Okay, 80 mm, this is only the second layer, put it this way. The final area, the final layer, it should be 300. 300 is a one ruler length. I'm not so sure if you have seen this type of equipment before. No? In a party worker, okay, there is the 300 and that is the final layer. So normally I will see a 300 width, then I consider it's a final. Anything less than the 300, I will do it to it. Okay. So take note, because on some scale, in previously, we use the 300 as our standard procedure as a final layer of party work. If we are doing the 300, we'll never let them in. But nowadays, okay, they are only going up to 260 mm. Okay. So if nowadays we look at 260 mm, we still can accept. Take note, 80 to 100 is only the second layer. It's not a final layer. A final layer must reach up to a 250. That is the final area. That's for the party work. Uh, So as usual, make sure everything is clean up before you do any party work. Okay. Okay. So all this double line, all this and that, we are not going to concentrate. It's basically it's a worker skill. A worker skill. A worker is skillful or not, actually by their way of party. Okay, here we add to your 3 layer. Okay. Anything is below 3 layer, better do not approve for painting work because you're going to redo and redo again. A single layer should not be at least 2 mm. Okay, these are just very detailed information to you guys. Okay, because I would say so. 100% of us never even measure is it 2 mm. Because why? We don't even know how to measure 2 mm, right? Correct. I can tell you it's 2 mm, but how you measure the 2 mm? You know, right? Okay, so these are actually what I say. Take note. All right. To measure 2 mm, there's no equipment for you to measure 2 mm. Okay, when you apply onto a gypsum board, feel by your hand. Take note. Feel by your hand. Okay. As far as what we want, flat, smooth for the next process. Here we do have stucco. Okay, but stucco wise, most of the project you all do have stucco. So just look into it. Make sure all the process is. Oh, sorry. Okay, so the stucco work wise, okay, it's also basically it's a 3 layer. Because most of our brand, we really do have a lot of stucco nowadays. So it's definitely carried out by the supply in store, but it's also good for us to make sure all this process is accordingly, right? Because especially like cost effective for this, yeah, we're going to that. Okay, base layer with the putty as a primer. Okay, so normally they will take over either with the putty as a primer, then the stucco contractor will take over from there. So this is for you to draw the line between the partition contractor and the stucco contractor. Okay, because they are not the same group. So make sure the line is drawn clearly. Okay. So preparation of base layer, all this you can follow this process over here. Okay. When we use the word painting, because for the stucco wise, it's not always they will use like a puppy way of doing it. Sometimes they use painting way of doing it. Just a note that it's subject to which stucco we are looking at. So stucco is a full wording, but there's a lot of design. I think more of the project team will know. Okay. So stucco tool is also the same thing, which actually we are talking about more with a gypsum board. Okay. Right. So it's the same thing, just follow certain of the process over here because we also learn from this type of specialists. But it's also good for our guys. Make sure, follow 1, 2, 3, do some checking and tick. Because the checking this is around here, right? It's here. You all can simply use it, print it out, and go by it, check it and tick it, and this it, proceed, you know. Okay, painting work over here wise, is the most simple job over here, right? So try not to overlook on this also because painting work is the last item that the client see. Okay, the client can never see how you party. correct? The client can never see what's the screw spacing you have tied. No, but the client can see the painting, you know. Here's scratches, there dirty, color tone, not even, you know, you understand? Oh, so it's a very simple book, simple item here, but actually this is the one that also causing a lot of double job. Okay. Painting and wallpaper, painting which I already highlighted. Okay. But over here, there is some information we have add in. All right. The temperature is during the construction shouldn't be above 5 degrees. You all do understand what we say 5 degrees. Singapore or Malaysia will never be 5 degrees, right? Okay. Take note on the humidity. Okay. For painting work during cold weather, heavy rain, take note. Normally try to do because the temperature is different too much. The one that you apply on the paint work on this raining day, you're going to find there is a tonality in different. It's because of the moisture temperature. Okay, you couldn't know what happened, but it's because of the cost. Because of the temperature itself. Take note. Okay, just to think. The rest of this type of tool preparation is always by the contractor, but make sure they're using all the correct item here and there. Okay, right. Protection wise, I think you are very professional nowadays. But just to keep it up, you have to do all this necessary protection. Okay, for fill up joint, all these I think should be understand. Look into all the joint part, look into make sure there is no uneven area here and there before you do any painting here and there. Okay. Okay. For this 3.3, put it this way. Right. We do indicate here, apply the putty in multi-thin layers to prevent cracking after drying. Okay. This is only uh uh suggestion. Okay. Oh, this is only a suggestion. Okay. As I said, crack line, why it form, look into just now a few things that I highlighted, different kind of material. The screw is wrong spacing too out, you know, material is too hard. Okay. That's why on NDF, especially NDF board, we always allow a bulk joint and we use the max bond in between as a joint part. After that, then we do the putty work. Okay. So this is only one of the proposal. Put it this way. Sometimes it helps, sometimes it's not help. Okay. So please over here, do not come back, which I already have applied 10 multi-thin layer, but it's still cracked. As I mentioned again, this is only a suggestion. Okay. There's a lot of way out. But there's also a lot of reason to cause the crack. Okay. It doesn't mean you go by a multi-time or 100 time, the crack is gone. No, it won't. I say again, it won't. So think on this. You may give a try. All right. Sometimes it works, sometimes it not. Okay. But over here, after the putty is dry, we don't use the word polish. You sand it down. Sand it down as flat as you can. Okay. I do know that you all would like to tell me that now all this is done by the subcon. Yeah. So I use the word again. Subcon is doing the correct way or wrong way to you know. See? So make sure or ensure they are following the correct way because worker wise, it's not all are skilled. Some are just newcomer. You know, some are only working as a party worker for less than 1 month. You never know. So you don't know what is their skill. Okay. So trust yourself. Trust yourself. Okay. And not just to go through the motion. Then you'll find the interest of the renovation. Okay. Why in all the different trade, all the specialists do come in all different way of pattern. Yes. Because this is their professional way. Okay, and that's why you have to make yourself as professional. You are too professional to guide them, to look after them, to take care of them, and make sure they follow the procedure and not shortcut. Okay. During painting, ensure the thickness is even and apply silver for until the color is full and have good coverage. Okay, why we want to indicate this sentence over here is sometimes that you all will apply in a 3 layer, but you can't find the color is even tone. Okay, take note on this. On a few color, if you all do face it, take note, you sure we're going to use this 4.4 red color and yellow color. Okay, take note on these two color, especially the red color. You can even need to apply to 7 times, then you can get the red. Why? I have no answer to this. But because of true experience, the only color that need to go until the 7 layer, then you can get the correct color is the red color. Okay. Why it happened in this way, Nippon also don't know how to answer. Okay. But this is just only experience shared between. Okay. Because if who know, one of these days your client will have this wall to be red. So please make sure your QS team code 7 times. Because if you code 3 times, it cannot go through. 100% it cannot go through. You will find in different rate. Confirm. Okay. Why did this happen? As I mentioned, I also have no way to answer you because Nippon also never gave me an answer at all. Okay. So that's still on this. The rest, if white color or gray color or whatever, it's okay. It's all right. Normally 3 layer will go through. Normally. Okay, for the wallpaper side, okay, wallpaper is the most little bit critical item to look at. Okay, because we do not always face the wallpaper. That is why wallpaper knowledge is quite wide range, right? If you look at the sample itself, you can find some is paper, fabric, cloth, okay, or veneer. So these are the most basic material in the wallpaper. So we couldn't able to identify item by item for you, but it's only a major item you have to look. Inspect the wallpaper, okay? So what you need to inspect, not only the surface or how beautiful is the wallpaper, is the material of the wallpaper. Fabric, veneer, paper base, you know. All right. Look into that. The most difficult will be the fabric. Fabric based wallpaper is the most difficult to join up. Okay. The most cheapest is the paper based wallpaper. That is the most cheapest. But I think most of you all never see this before because it's too cheap to use. That's why our client never choose that. Okay. Preparation work is still extended. Okay, make sure all the surface here and there is all clean up. Okay. So select wallpaper adhesive. Okay. This you have to depend on the subcon. Okay. But nevertheless, you can also to get the information from the supplier. The supplier have went through a lot of experience before, so they will be able to tell you. But be careful on the country itself. Okay. On certain country, they will use a different kind of adhesive because of the weather itself. Okay, just take note that. Okay, for the lighting, checking all this and that, you all will just go through all this process here because we have tried to list as much as we can. I cannot able to go through all in single item. It's only we try to pick up those important items for you guys. Okay, lighting wise, most of them is SPO items, so please get the team to have the material receipt report accordingly. Check the necessary inspection. Okay, outlook all this is from the contractor. Okay, we will not go through all this in more in the practical detail. We all try to read through what we have indicate here to improve a little bit of your understanding. Okay, if you do have some wording is not so clear or do not understand what is called neutral wire or whatever, you can either come to us. Okay, like switches, wiring, all this. We also you all just please go through all this installation manual here. Okay. Or And also same for the vertical box or this. You do not want to go through all single wording. Okay. For the wooden floor wise, I think most of us is understanding. Okay. So this is the process we already have indicate over here. So make sure the team follow this process because this will solve a lot of your issue. And quality checking, that is the one of the issue that we don't want to escape this process. Take note on this, the quality issue for the wooden floor. Okay. So workflow wise, some of them they do have the SPO supervisor. Some is they only supply the material. So if those only supply material, PIC or the project team, could please study the whole process. So for the marble floor installation, the condition is all over here. Try to pick up as much as you can. Okay. That will same go for here, continue with all the grouting because all this is little bit experience and need to kick in. Okay. But you all may go through this process to have more understanding and have this as your base to further explore. Okay. Carpet installation, I think is the most easier job for you guys. Okay. Just to make sure you follow this process. Okay. So I will not go through the carpet itself because carpet is SPO item and also is the most simple job for you guys. But nevertheless, make sure the team follow the process accordingly. At least, you do went through the process and do your checking list. Okay. Because you all do have know that the flooring carpet is always by the SPO supplier. Okay. Control the supplier. Okay. So all these are the carpet installation. So just read through if you all do have the time. Okay. So the only thing is the seam over here. All right. For carpet, the only item or the only exercise is the trim. So this trim depend on the carpet material. Think on this. It's not all can seam. Okay, furniture wise, I think you should understand we do have our new team to take care of the furniture manufacturing. All right. So for the furniture installation wise, please all can go through on this. It doesn't mean that only male team will go through on this. GC team also can go through on this. Equipment installation wise, okay, this is also one of the checklists. Okay, for the team, you all can follow up all this because this will able to cut you down a lot of your missing item. Okay, that is what we are intended. So over here we have only some example photo just to share around. Okay, this is how bad is what have been done. I will not tell you where you start project here and there. It's just that why. Okay, so, why. Okay, why. 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 Okay, the example photo I will not go through. I just let you guys just to take note on this. All these are quite practical photo, okay, which is happened, okay. But it's not for you to find out the answer. It's just that it shouldn't be happen. Put it this way, because all these are not in a very, you know, enclosed corner that cannot be seen. All these are totally ice level. Okay. We're not going to highlight which project it belongs to or whatever. Okay, but I only can tell you practically, yes, it happened. Okay. So actually, I try not to use for this last area we call as touch up. Okay. Oh, but it's nevertheless, it's still your duty and responsibility to make sure that follow up all this touch up, all right, and not to really to show ever the example photo that you see here. All this is eye level, okay? And what's the point? You let the client to point, then you go and do a touch up. What is the point? You get what I mean? Okay. So I will not go through the touch up, okay? It's just a matter of to further improve it for you to finally double check. For example, like carpet, how you verify all the thing to make sure the age, then do your final simple touch up. Okay. It's go by the individual trade item. Okay. So all the item you really try to identify over here, you know, but you do maybe have your own inspection list, but hopefully above over on all these items. Okay. And not to shortcut it. Okay. Because we do not wish to say, when people are making so much noise and then we ask, there is, error here and there, overlook here and there, this is quite a very unacceptable reason that we need to accept. Okay. That is why all these will guide you through in the stage by stage and hopefully able to cut down as much as we can. Okay. There will be part and parcel here, there will be touch up here and there, yes. But it should be within the project schedule timing. Okay. So holding remove process, I do not want to go through because this is quite a standard procedure on the last phase. But make sure all this is being checked again when you before you dismantle. Okay. Okay, so here there's some key risk or key risk category, put it this way. Okay. Just look into it. Maybe you will not understand on this risk assessment or prevention plan. Okay. Because this is more to MOM safety regulation. KIC wise, you're better take a look on all this. There are all these risk assessment requirement. Okay. So over here we do have some safety requirement here. So it's not only actually for the site to take care or the safety team to take care. But sometimes this type of information also good to share with our QS team. At least, we'll take into certain of the expenses that require. Okay. So all the last page is all the safety wise. Okay. Take note on all these safety requirements. Okay. So we will not go through for all these safety requirements because basically I think most of you guys have done all this issue. Okay. But nevertheless, keep your housekeeping that will make the site to be safe. Okay. So subcon management, there will be this last few page. Okay. When we use the word subcon management, it's actually the way that we're going to treat our subcon and our supplier. Okay. They are still also human beings. Okay. Definitely there will be certain skill or technical need to kick in. Okay. Need to kick in. Over here, you can go through accordingly, read through accordingly. All right. Because these are wording. Take note, which I just now highlighted, they are also human beings. They are also human beings. So no one can tell you that he's a good contractor or he's a good supplier. Okay. Or he's a bad contractor or he's a bad supplier. Don't have. Judge by yourself. And how you want to judge by yourself. This is some base guide here, but you yourself is still the most important. Okay. How to be strict to manage all the subcontractor unit. take note of this. Okay, how we select the contractor, how we test the contractor, how is their costing? Okay, are they willing to as our working partnership? Okay, all this and that. It's a general area to look into it. Okay, general area to look into it. So please go through this subcon management. This okay, it may help you a bit here and there, but it need your practice. You need to practice. Okay, because it's no point you tell me this contractor is good or no good. I only test it one time, we will know. But how we test it, that's the most important thing. Okay, some already have learned, but some still couldn't have the skill. Okay, oh, so hopefully this can able to help a bit. Okay, and as here you can see like a sample mock-up, all this and that. Okay, I also already just now highlighted, make sure all the subcontractor, whoever, must submit all the specification for the review and approval. Not only their quotation, it's no use. Because when they quote in $14 per meter square for ceiling, what type of material they are using, you don't know. Then how we can justify the $14 per meter square is correct? See? So look into that, and this will help you also for your subcon management. Okay? Oh, keep close on all this. And also, there will be later stage all the PLC things, especially like those real world involved for this and that. Okay. We must have a procedure to control all this. Okay. Okay, housekeeping, I don't want to keep repeating and repeating. So just please read into it. Why we want to keep emphasis on this, because it's a simple job, but it cannot be done, but it affect a lot. So try not to. Okay. Material and goods arrive management. Okay, this is the material report. Okay, please keep your SPO material report. It need to be done. It need to be done. Okay, there is no shortcut for this area. On-site staff attendance. Okay, so PIC, this is your very main task. Make sure. Okay, make sure. I would say so. Make sure. Okay. So over here we have add in to request worker to be on site, fill out on site manpower records form, and to submit to production. So your chin. 5 days, not 5 hours. We use the word as 5 days, okay, just as a standard procedure. But definitely this is related to your planning wise, okay, subject to case basis. Okay. Okay. So I believe I have covered the site procedure, SOP procedure. Okay. So anyone over here would like to ask any question for these 10 minutes? All sleeping already, tired. Okay, but nevertheless, colleagues, okay, the top management have been spent about, I think, 2 months plus, okay, with the assist of even over here, and also the team, right, and also some contribution also from one inside, and the management also have went through for this for a few times. So please appreciate what the management really have done for you guys. And now this is the only one full set of SOP for you to review, to refresh the morning section and the afternoon section. It may help, it may not, because we are all from different departments. But take note, because of this SOP, you will be able to understand on different departments what they require. Okay. The QS department is doing on tender. Yes. Okay. Simply enough. Just now I already highlighted for the safety, how they actually price. Okay. They will have to work with the project team to get the information, to get the pricing. Correct. If not, how you think a QS will price? the safety. There is a safety in the tender. Okay, there is a housekeeping in the tender, and how our QS need to price. So with this SOP, is actually will share among of different departments to have more understanding. Okay, on all their department reading or the strongly. Okay, we cannot always just use the word as we are which department, we are professional in which department. It could never happen. It could never happen. A GC department will not be a GC professional department. There is no such thing. Because you need to be supported by the traffic. You need to be supported by the logistics. You need to be supported by the QS. Okay. You need to work together with the mail team. You need together also to work with the facade team. You think the facade don't join together with the internal work? They join. So how to work it, you know? Because previously we do have quite a separate folder here and there. Okay. So the management already have now formed this into the 2024 one SOP. We are trying to put all the department into one SOP for all to review, regardless whether it's a new staff, new colleague, or whether it's all the senior colleague over here. Refresh a bit, but along the way, if you all do have good proposal or you all have test out some new proposal or trial, do not hesitate to highlight back to your HOD. Let the HOD will able to further implement on the next meeting or whatever to make this SOP more workable. Okay. We are only the HOD, but we are not God. Okay. We are trying to implement whatever we can. Okay. But is you yourself is the most important to make use of this to come out or to work with it to improve yourself to become a special. Okay, it may help you or it may not because most of us is all from different department. Okay, but this is for all to use. It's not related to which department you are. It's all to use. Okay, you'll be more understand how the project team work. Project team will able to understand how the travel team are looking at or how the QS team looking at, what type of information the logistic require or whatever here and there. Okay, but this is also major we call as site management skill. We use a general wording, the site management skill, how to master it, time, and your own capability, your own mindset. Okay, that's what I can say. Some of you will be interested on this type of thing, find very exciting. Some is finding too boring. All the A, B, and C diet, So it's all different kind of mindset. Look into it, okay? Refresh yourself, improve yourself. If you do need any guidance or assistance here and there, I think you already have all the introduction of the HOD. Look for the correct one to get the guidance and ask for some assistance. I believe they will help. Okay, so that's all from my side. I pass back to Evan, unless you all have any Q&A.
Yeah. Do anyone have any question? I think it's quite a long session, and then we target to end about 4 p.m.
5 minutes, that's all.
If anyone have any question, you can actually click the button of raise hand. So I will actually have a look up over the names. But if not, then we will end the session now. After today training, give me a little bit time. If either tomorrow morning, I will send out a guideline how or where you can actually get this SOP, because you might need a little bit skills to be able to download the checklist and also to view the workflow. So I will actually send out a guideline with the link available by latest tomorrow morning to everyone in the office. Okay. So if no further question, I will actually end today's trainings. Make sure nobody raise the hand. Yeah, nobody raised hand. Okay. So we will end the today trainings. Thank you, everyone. And thank you, Richard.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye
Thank you,
bye.
Richard. Thank you, everyone.